In this video, I will be taking a look at the Revopoint Range 3D scanner. This is the latest in the line of 3D scanners and it's a lot more robust than the previous versions. The main difference with this particular scanner is that you can scan larger objects, including humans. I am by no means an expert at 3D scanning, but I think the ultimate test for a product like this one is when a non-expert can come up with good results using it. Let's start by unboxing the 3D scanner. It comes very nicely packaged and it comes with a tripod, which is both a handheld tripod as well as one you can place on a surface. It also comes with a phone holder which you can use to place your phone, since you can use this scanner with your phone app as well. It also nicely comes with a charger as well, which you can use while you're using your phone. This is very useful in cases where you want to use your phone to do scanning, places like outdoors for example. It also comes with all the cable connections you need for both computer and phone, and for good measure it also includes markers and a black tarp that you can use as a background. For my tests, I will be scanning a few different objects, measuring different sizes to see how it performs. I will also be using a turntable for this. This is not required, but if you're looking for easier and better results, I highly recommend getting one. For this test case, I will be scanning this figure, which is about 12 inches tall. The finish on the figure is a matte finish, except for the eyes which are pretty shiny. The legs are also a bit exposed with a metal rod. So here I am scanning using the turntable, and I set the settings to high accuracy as well as features. I also enabled color so that we can get a texture out of this. So the way I scanned it was by letting it turn around with the turntable, but I also moved the camera a little bit up and down so that I could capture the top and some parts of the bottom of the figure as well. I let it do a few rotations before I stopped the capture. One thing I was impressed with as I was capturing was that it really did a pretty good job at not including anything in the background. I had quite a few things in the background, but the scanner was really good at not including that. There are some things you can't really avoid scanning in some instances, such as the ground, but that can always be removed later during editing. So once you're done capturing, you can edit the model and go through a few different stages, such as getting the point cloud, which is the initial scan, and from there you can get the finalized mesh, as well as a finalized texture as well. For this video, I'm using the beta version of the scan software, so there were a few things which didn't always work as expected, particularly when getting the final texture. It would sometimes not come out right on some spots of the model. I was told by the team that they're still working on finalizing the software and improving it before it releases to the public, so that's something to keep in mind. When the texture works, it looks pretty nice in the scan program. Once exported and working in something like ZBrush and Substance Painter, it does look slightly pixelated to me. This is something I wish would be better, as having the final textures makes the process of finalizing models a lot easier. Hopefully this is something the team is aware of and they're making changes to make the texture resolutions a little bit higher on exports. There are multiple applications for a scanner like this one, but since I am a 3D artist, I couldn't help but use it to create 3D models for rendering in Marmoset 2back. I brought some of the scans to the Revo Studio software, where I cleaned up a few things and then exported that into ZBrush, where I also made a few adjustments as well. Here's what it looks like after just a little bit of work. You can definitely get some nice results from this if you're looking to use it for something like photogrammetry. Alright, so next I decided to try out a slightly larger object. This one's not really complex, but it's a really large object. So for this test, it did fairly well. It didn't capture the back since the tires were placed against the wall. Sadly, when I attempted to get the texture for this one, it did mess it up and it became a bit less useful. One thing that could be done in this case is to clean up the texture in something like Substance Painter or even ZBrush. I also tried the scanner on this Millennium Falcon model. This one in particular is fairly complex, as it has a lot of small details and shapes, and I was interested to see how it would capture it. The capture itself came out fairly okay. This object has a lot of sharp corners, so some sections didn't come out as sharp as they are in real life. But it was a good capture nonetheless. Also keep in mind, I'm not really using any special studio lighting or doing anything in particular for these captures. I'm using just the standard room lighting, and I have no doubt that someone with a nicer setup can probably get better results. I also didn't play too much with the settings for the captures, so that's something to keep in mind as well. Now I did want to try to scan larger objects outside, but the weather here, rain and snow, has not really allowed me to do so, but I will keep you guys posted on how that goes once the weather is more manageable. Overall though, I have to say this 3D scanner is really good. I was particularly impressed at how good the captures are and how quickly you can scan things. There's also the ability to take it outside and scan things with your phone as well. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm definitely not an expert at this, so I'm sure in the right hands this is a very powerful scanner. I remember when photogrammetry was done by taking a bunch of pictures and then putting them together in a program. This pretty much does the same thing, but it does it all for you and automatically, so you don't have to do much of that. There is currently a Kickstarter that is going on for the Revo Range 3D scanner. Usually I'm a bit skeptical about Kickstarter campaigns, but this company has already done many in the past and have always delivered. They also already have the item made, and while the software is still in beta and they're still working on some things, the product itself is probably almost ready to be shipped to the backers on the Kickstarter campaign once that is complete. I will be leaving a link in the video description to their Kickstarter as well as their website. Okay everyone, I hope you liked this video. Let me know what you think I should try scanning next, or if you have any questions about this particular scanner. Once again, there is a link in the video description for you guys to check it out. Thank you everyone, and I hope to see you in a future video.